What is it like being a Jamaican living in Hong Kong? Hi, I'm Xavier Murphy, founder of Jamaicans.com. And today in Jamaicans to the World, I talk to Monique Lai, a Jamaican who's living in Hong Kong. Hi, Monique. How are you?
Hi, hi. So nice to be here. Thank you, Xavier.
Good having you. Good having you. So, tell us a little bit about your background. Where in Jamaica are you from? Which school you may have gone to, and all those the nice details there.
Okay, well, I'm from Mobe. I went to Mount Alvernia Prep and High, and I still keep in contact with my classmates. I was very, very lucky that everybody was fantastic, and we had like a really special bond and connection. We might not see each other every day, every year, but just when you send messages, it just means a lot. And so they know I'm thinking of them, and vice versa.
All
So,
right. Now, you're let's dig in a little bit more in your background. You are an artist. You're a photographer. You have. I won't go into the accolades. I let you tell us some of the accolades. And I know you just came back from an exhibit. I'm trying to remember which country, but go ahead. Tell us a little bit about what you do and also how we could find you.
okay. So, I am a photographer, storyteller, filmmaker. Obviously, directing is my number one passion. I started in stage directing Jamaica Farewell with Deborah Earhart. And then afterwards, I transitioned in photography because I kind of wanted to challenge my eye and myself whether or not I'm able to tell an emotion or share an emotion in a still image, and whether or not I can connect with an audience without dialogue, just on an image alone. So I did photography. I started in New York a little bit. It was too cold for me there. So that's why I came to Hong Kong. And so in Hong Kong, I've been doing photography and I've been doing videos right now. And I just got back from Venice Biennale. So that was really a fun project that I'm editing right now. Those videos are really, really good. I can't wait to share them with you.
So, where can folks find you online?
Uh, So right now my website is moniquelipicture.com. So it's one word, and
Monique, as you see, spelled to your audience, Lai, and it's
picture.com.
pictures.com.
So my
Okay.
um the reason why the reason why I selected that was because in directing, so some people either call it, let's say, a Monique Lai film or a Monique Lai picture or a film by Monique Lai. So I personally have always loved when the credits of the director would say like a Monique Lai picture, because it kind of shows the collaborators. So I kind of dived right in with that website.
Nice. So, what did you know or about Hong Kong before picking up and saying, I'm going to go live in Hong Kong?
Well, actually, from a very, very young age, I would come here to visit Hong Kong because my mom is from Hong Kong. And so we visit family, and my mom is like number eight. So we have a lot of family. And we would also go to China to visit my dad's side of the family. So from a very young age, I was really taken with Asia and the possibilities. And so the Bank of China here is designed by IMP. So as a little girl just looking at that big bank, I was like, wow, the whole world is amazing and big and huge. So when I would go back to Jamaica, my imagination would just spiral. So I would always see or envision or imagine a lot of stories. So I think that's why filmmaking, photography came to me very, very naturally, very
Nice.
creative. Yeah.
So, let me ask you in terms of family in Hong Kong and China. um I mean, you basically sound like your summer holidays. In Jamaica we go to country for the summer or we go family. It sounds like that was your summer holidays. Your mom, you say, is from Hong Kong and moved to Jamaica.
Yeah, my mom is a Hong Kong native, and it was actually sort of an arranged marriage with my dad.
Oh,
So they, yes, so they connected for 3 years, letter writing, and eventually my dad flew to Hong Kong to marry my mom, and so my mom went to Jamaica without speaking any English, and so that's where she kind of learned English. She don't speak much English, but she can get by. That was
wow. So she's learning Jamaican while she's there. That's the first English she encountered. Well, not English. The first language, I should say, not English. The first language she encountered was the Jamaican language, and probably and some English.
Yes, yes, and she loved it, and she can cook Jamaican, so she kind of, she dived right in because she actually wanted to leave Hong Kong, as a young girl and wanted to see the world, and she ended up in Jamaica and loved it, and just the culture and everything was very good for her. So she like, and Aki, she cooks the best Aki, I swear, the best dumpling, everything. So I'm very happy,
and
very lucky.
and I'm very always interested in ancestry. Your dad, you said, no, his family, who was from China.
So my dad's dad is Chinese, and his name was Austin Lai. And the story with him was he actually went to Jamaica. He found a Jamaican love, right, and had, I'm thinking, 8 kids with her. And eventually, later on, he went to Hong Kong, found a Chinese woman, and brought her to Jamaica. So, and had 3 kids with her. So we have like a huge, huge family. But the one great thing about the 2 women were that all the kids were considered brothers and sisters. So it wasn't any like dramatic thing with stepbrothers and all or stepsisters, any of that. It was just very a warm family. So that is how I grew up. It's a very different kind of concept, but it was just those 2 women just made sure that everybody was, all good. It's a different kind of life. So yeah, it's a huge. I've come from a very huge family.
It sounds that way. So you have the Jamaican side, you have the Hong Kong side, and you have the Chinese side. You still have, was he able to trace cousins and so forth in China?
Yes. So actually, every time I would come to Hong Kong, I would always go to China to the village that my dad was raised. My dad was born in Jamaica, but at the time, my grandfather sent all the boys to China to learn to speak, read, and write Chinese. And sometimes you can't afford all the kids, so all the boys went and all the girls stayed in Jamaica. So my dad's thinking was always very Chinese oriented.
Okay.
So his upbringing was very. So I always went to the same village that my dad was raised. So it's a very small town, but now it's huge. But now, I mean, it's the
Well,
core of ancestry, I guess. It feels good to know where you come from.
so I've always heard this, that I know of people, I know folks that their dad sent them back to China for them to learn the language. Boys, it's always the boys. Send them back to China. They learn the language, and they'll come back to Jamaica. So much stories. One of these days, I'll dive into some of it because some of it is very, very, very interesting in terms of getting. They may have had a wife there, and they bring the wife down to Jamaica, and
Yeah,
have another wife in Jamaica, and or have kids, and they bring the kids and switch birth certificate. All sorts of drama, all sorts of stuff to get out.
they did a lot of things back in those days, right? But yeah,
Yes, yes. So, last before I move on, and this is out of my personal curiosity, which district or town in China was he from?
it's close to Shenzhen, Sandan, close to Shenzhen. It's in Cantonese. It's called Jamaican, which is like a very small village. So it's Jamaican.
Okay, I thought you were gonna say
And
Guangdong.
yes, yes, yes. It's a Guangdong district,
Oh,
but in
it's a part of the Guangdong district.
it's a part. Yes. So when you say that, it's more like saying Florida, right? So Guangdong is saying Florida, so it's a specific. So Shenzhen is, let's say, called like Miami. It's a very pinpoint. Yeah,
Okay,
something like
all
that.
right. Yeah, yeah. Again, this is some history.
Yeah.
I think if anyone has seen the video with me finding an uncle that lives in China, you'll understand why my curiosity and why I took this in another direction. But let's circle back to Hong Kong.
I love that video. Okay, yes. No, that video was very moving for me. I bawled for days. That was very, really touching.
uh,
Yeah.
yeah, I gotta come back. I gotta come back. So, so moving there now, you finished school. I think you migrated to the United States, or I don't know if you did or you went straight to Hong Kong. How did that transition happen?
Actually, in the middle of eighth grade at Montego Bay and High, I actually left. I stopped over in Miami a little bit, and then we went to Hong Kong for school, and stayed in Hong Kong for like a year or so, and then I went back to Miami for high school and then university. So I skipped like 2 years basically, but it's okay. It's all good. I was happy to skip a couple years. Um, so yeah, it was fun for me. It was fun.
So, did you go to the 1 year you lived in Hong Kong before going back to Miami? You went to school there?
Yes, yes. I went to Adelia School of Canada. It's a Canadian school that speaks English. So I went there for a year. Uh, so I got the hang of stuff.
Okay, I was thinking, did you go to a local school in Hong Kong?
Yeah, no, I wanted to, but unfortunately, I cannot read or write Chinese, and so for the local schools, like that's quite prominent. So I wish I did. I wish I could have, but yeah, it's purely English.
but but you speak it. You speak it.
Yeah, I speak Cantonese, yes, because mommy don't speak much English, right? So I have to speak Chinese to her. So growing up, mommy would talk to me in Cantonese, and daddy would speak to me in English. But sometimes daddy would talk Hakka to family and everything. So I do understand Hakka, but I don't speak it as much. But yeah.
All right. So tell us about your typical day there in Hong Kong.
In Hong Kong, because it's quite fast paced, I actually do quite a bit of yoga. So yoga is my mental release, relaxation, spa moment, and because I like being athletic, but yoga is for me it's the best thing because I like to relax, and it's very important for my creativity. So it's a part of my training. So I'm able to declutter before I start shooting or editing some work. Um, so I do quite a bit of yoga, and then afterwards, I would go home and then edit work, which is what I'm doing right now. So it's sort of yeah, it's a very good mindset and lifestyle, and you meet a lot of people, so it's kind of nice.
So what's the work life balance there in Hong Kong? Is it work, or is there some type of balance? And I'm not talking you specific, but and I know you can't speak for everyone, but what have you observed?
Um, what I've observed, a lot of people, the work is obviously maybe 80%, and they try to balance it with family life and, personal time. The personal time is, I think, the hardest for most people because the work, the deadlines, they want things like yesterday. So everything is quite fast paced, the energy here. So it's very difficult to balance. But I do like that they have yoga studios everywhere. So close to the office, close to the home, close to the public transportation. So you really have no excuse to find time, downtime for yourself. So
Friends, tell me, when you were there the first time, did you make friends, or was it the second time when how did that form, a friend group?
so for the friends group, it's quite interesting because I was living in New York at the time, and I would meet a lot of people, and I happened to meet this one guy who happened to have a friend in Hong Kong. So when I came to Hong Kong, I just emailed her, and then we just got together, and she introduced me to her friends. So it was a very warm welcome for me. So I don't know if that's typical. I think it is actually in Hong Kong, where people are very warm and friendly to people coming into the city, because it can be quite difficult. But I think making friends here can be quite easy if you're very open to it. And for me, I'm quite open to meeting people and stuff like
Okay.
that.
So typically, again, I'm looking at what you look like. Typically, what is the first impression? Are they saying, where are you from, and where they typically think you're from?
Uh, well, actually, a lot of people, for some reason, they like to just talk to me in Cantonese. So they always, obviously I'm Chinese, I'm mixed, but I do make sure I make that disclaimer the first thing I meet people, whether it's a client or friends or strangers. I tell them, hey, I'm Jamaican, just so you know, because Jamaicans are opinionated. We say what's on our mind, because you know Chinese people don't do that as much because they're quite polite. Um, so yeah, I make sure they know I'm Jamaican.
Okay.
Yes, I make sure, and they're happy because actually, I'm sorry, I'm actually most of them, I'm the first Jamaicans. Most of them, they say I'm the first Jamaican they've met, and I think that's quite surprising because Jamaicans are all over the world. But for me, for some reason, a lot of them they say I'm the first Jamaican they've met. So, and that to me is also an honor because I'm happy to be the first Jamaican. So yeah, it's quite fun. It's nice.
So you're educating them on Jamaica.
Oh yes, and they know. I'm very particular. I like things a certain way. I like things nice, neat, tidy. Because the Caribbean, most people are quite neat, and so they know I'm like that. I'm very particular in how I like things, and they can tell. They can tell immediately. So they know I'm not like the normal.
So if there was one thing that you wished you had known before you had moved to Hong Kong, and I'm not saying it's good or it's bad, but that one thing you wish that I wish I'd known this before I moved here, what would that one thing be?
I think I want to rephrase that question. I mean, I don't. I mean, only because for me, I like to go into things green. Like even when I see a movie, I don't even want to know too much about it. I just want to go in and see what the director wants to say. So for me, I just dived into Hong Kong and just very receptive. I didn't want to know too much about anything because when I moved here, I didn't know anything at all. So my parents had a place here in Hong Kong, and so I basically came here not knowing anything. But I do want to say when I came here to Hong Kong, I was surprised how clean everything was. Clean, like no garbage. I mean, I think I was coming from New York, by the way, but the thing was, I mean, the receptacles. I mean, it's always emptying. I mean, everything is clean. The litter, So I don't know. That was the one thing that really surprised me, and how efficient the bus systems were. Um, subway, you have AC in the subway. New
Yeah.
York don't have it.
I would say I definitely. I mean, I haven't been to Hong Kong, but I can say it's in Asia. Oh man, the train, Japan. I mean, Man, if it says it's going to be there at 101, that train is there at 101. Okay? I mean, it's like a machine.
Yeah, it's really wild. The quite advanced, and it's really nice to live in a city that's kind of advanced like that. It spearheads everything. So yeah,
So, how
it's
often do
fast.
you go over to China?
To be honest, not often enough. Not often, not often enough. I do want to make changes. So yes, I'm hoping to go more often.
How easy is it? Tell us about that process. If I was to travel into Hong Kong, um, is it a plane ride? Is it a train ride to get into China? How easy is it, or how hard?
Okay, so yeah. Well, right now, so obviously we have buses. Some people even drive into Shenzhen. They have a personal driver or taxi. But the fastest way actually is the subway. They call it the MTR. And the metro just goes straight into China. The immigration is quite fast here. So it's very, very easy. I want to say it depends where you are in the city, but it could take like 45 minutes.
Okay, that's not bad.
It's very fast. Yeah, it depends where you are in the city. Like 45 minutes. Yeah, and
That's
you're
not
there.
that's not bad at
It's
all.
very actually yes, very good.
Back to Hong Kong. If there was a place, maybe even an event, you say, Xavier, if you're coming to Hong Kong, you gotta go do this, or you gotta see this. What would it be?
I guess to be honest, it would be hiking. This was a bit of a shock for me, but when I came here to Hong Kong, a friend took me to Dragon's Back, um, and I think that hike was really spectacular. And I think it's one of the most talked about hikes. There's a lot, but I think hiking is probably one of the best things about Hong Kong, and that is not as known publicly. So they always say the peak and everything, which is obviously fantastic, but the hiking is really very special, I would
Oh,
say.
I wouldn't. Wow,
Yeah.
that's a bit surprising.
Yes, right. So actually, my cousin from Canada, she came here, and Melanie, and I took her hiking, her and her guy, and it was really fun. And they did not expect it at all. I made sure she get the proper shoes because she was going to go in slippers, and I said, no, you need to get shoes. So she actually got shoes, and we went hiking. I think that's one of the best things you can gift somebody coming into Hong Kong is a hike.
Let's talk a little bit about food. Your favorite food in Hong Kong is what?
Actually, I like the dumplings. So it's like a wonton soup. It's very different from a Jamaican wonton soup, but it's kind of nice at the same time. So I like their wontons here, and they have like the dumplings. So basically, the dumpling soup, wonton soup. It's one of my favorites. I like eating that.
Cost of living. What's it like?
Ooh, unfortunately, a lot of things are quite expensive, but because of the economy now, I think worldwide economy is at this phase. So there's a lot of sales. So Hong Kong is now affordable only because of the sales, and it's coming down in price, hopefully, because a lot of people unfortunately have been going to China, which is so close to the border, to go shopping. So Hong Kong has stepped it up with a lot of sales right now. So, but cost of living is quite high, rent and everything. Even certain restaurants are now having special menus to accommodate another tier. So, yeah, I think worldwide this is affecting everybody, but in Hong Kong as well, for sure. Everybody is rethinking how to spend money. More money for your dollar.
More bang for the buck. So is it difficult? getting a visa to live and work in Hong Kong?
I personally have not gone through that route, but from the people I've met, they were quite lucky that they came to Hong Kong and they were able to find work, and those companies would sponsor them. And after 7 years, you would get your Hong Kong ID. So lots of people would just come to Hong Kong and stay for at least 7 years, or some even 10 or more, 20 years, and they just live here. They've gotten so used to the pace and how efficient and how everything is so close by, and Hong Kong actually makes things quite easy for people to do things, whether you want to do a startup business. They make the paperwork much less, and I appreciate that a lot. It's quite nice. Yeah.
I've heard this before, and I think even when I did, I spoke to some folks that lived there in a previous video. But is it getting a little bit more multicultural there or less? Because I know with the transition that happened, again, I know there were folks that would come from other Asian countries to Hong Kong. I'm not saying a majority, but how have you seen it, that transition, in terms of people that are coming to Hong Kong?
You're talking about the diversity.
Yes, yes, I am.
Well, there's quite a bit of expats, I would say. Obviously coming from Europe, England, Australia. Um, I, for some reason, I was very, very so lucky. I bumped into this one girl in the lift, and she was talking in a Caribbean accent, and that is how I met this Trini. Oh God, Nicole, Mr. Nicole. I was in Hong Kong for so many years and I couldn't find or meet any of the Caribbeans. And through this one girl, I was able to meet all of them. And I'm so lucky, so lucky. So that is how I met Sia and Nellie, the twins that you interviewed as well. But yeah, it took me quite some time to find them. I was like, where are you? I needed you, right? Because sometimes you just want to call and chit chat. And people here are not going to understand your English anyway, so it's kind of nice to be with your Caribbean tribe, right?
And be yourself.
Yes, to be myself, and they're relaxed about it. If you snap at somebody, then they take it, they're a bit sensitive. But Caribbeans are used to that, right? So no, so yes, I was very lucky. So finally, I met a Caribbean tribe, a group, and we do get together quite a little bit here on and off.
Nice, nice, nice. So where you all get your supplies to cook up, like your jerk chicken and your this and your that? Where are you getting them?
Well, let me tell you something. I became very good friends with this girl named Jennifer, and she came to Jamaica Farewell, and that is how I met her after the show. And she's a costume designer, and so she would actually sometimes, if she knows somebody's coming to Hong Kong, she's in LA, she would just like give them a little bag of goodies, and the last goodies I got was like 4 can of ackee, and 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 then my mom would have her friends bring something over. So I have Maggie chicken noodle, little things like that. But I miss Bun, obviously. I miss the bun. I miss Patty. Patty is one thing I really miss.
Oh
Um,
man. All right. I know
of
I
that.
know if anybody come in there, you know what Monique is missing. You gotta freeze that thing for that long flight.
Freeze the patty and send it to me and bring it over. Freeze it. Yes. No. But even like tamarind balls, little things like that. Tamarind balls, you said, all that fun stuff. I mean, I think when you are an adult, you get to appreciate how lucky you are to be a Jamaican. I swear, I always say I'm so lucky to be a Jamaican and grow up in Montego Bay and to have the friends I have growing up. Go to the beach and just relax and to completely have a different mindset from a lot of people that I've met. So we're very lucky to be
Awesome.
Jamaican. Very
Awesome.
lucky.
Awesome. In terms of, again, you live there, medical, is it a challenge, or, medical insurance is pretty straightforward there?
Actually, Hong Kong has a quite a nice medical insurance subsidy. I would say if you have a Hong Kong ID, you can just go to the hospital. Just pay with like a little debit card, which they call the octopus card. Even like maternity, I have a friend that is pregnant and she's going to go to the hospital and then she's just going to pay with a little debit card. Hong Kong's medical pricing is very, very good. I mean, you don't really need insurance, but some companies, if you work for a major company, they obviously supply that. If you're going to want medicine, the medicine shops are all over the place. So it's like generic brands, and so it's very, very affordable. I mean, you're not going to pay thousands and thousands of US. No way. It's they don't do that here, which is it's very nice. Yeah, they're very, very nice about that.
So you run a business there, and your photography, video, video editing, direct, how easy was it to set up shop in Hong Kong? Not versus anywhere, just you've probably set up elsewhere before, but how easy was it?
Um, Actually, one of the reasons why I came to Hong Kong was to shoot a concept that I wanted. It's something in my mind, my imagination, but it had to be photographed here in Hong Kong. And I shot that work with Eugenia, a friend of mine. And it was based on that particular series that got me jobs. It was very amazing. I was amazed that they could see beyond that because that was like personal work. But I got jobs based on that particular series. So that was quite surprising to me, actually. So based on that work, people are like, oh, your work is so moody. It's very interesting. And so I would get gigs based on that. So personal work is always the way to go. So if I'm not shooting assignments, I always do personal work to keep busy, but also, yeah.
But was registering as a business there? How was that?
So registering as a business was quite easy to get that certificate. You can go do it yourself or go through an accountant. A friend of mine, luckily, she told me the ropes, so she just told me what to do, and I just did it. And so every year you just pay the annual tax for your name and your license, basically, to work. So that part, Hong Kong is incredible. They really like people working. If you have something special to do and you want to do it, Hong Kong is quite supportive of that. They let you do it. They let you begin. And I think people here are quite open to working with new people.
Nice, nice. So that leads me into this last question. What is that number one advice you'd give to a Jamaican or anyone that's thinking of moving to Hong Kong?
I think my number one advice is to always stay open and receptive. I mean, the culture here is quite different. Sometimes you will meet people that are considered rude or just, like you're bothering them, but some people are quite warm and friendly. So it really depends. And I think Sia and Nelly mentioned this. One of them get the best one of them don't get it. But there's really a mix of that. Yeah, I think it's just to be open to anything. No preconceived notions. That's the best way to go if you're going into a new city, especially in Hong Kong. Things are really evolving quite a bit because, not only because of the economy, but because, it's more Chinese. Yes, it's becoming more Chinese. So you really have to be quite open. Ideally, it'd be nice for you to learn Chinese, Mandarin. I think that's the one thing that the advice I would say is to probably learn Mandarin.
Do you dream in Mandarin or Cantonese?
No, I don't. I don't. But I would love to. I would love to speak Mandarin. I think that would be nice. I would love to speak Mandarin.
But you're picking up some here and there, I guess.
Here and there, but yeah, it's the accent. I think for me, it's the accent. It's quite difficult for me. Other people can understand it. Yeah.
So, Monique, thank you for spending some time with us, telling us about your experience there in Hong Kong. Some great advice, some great tips. Here is how I close out. How do you say goodbye informally in Hong Kong?
Well, informally, they like to wear bye bye or bye bye.
Oh, it's bye bye.
Yes, bye bye. So they like to end it in a sentence, like in an upturn. So you have to say and smile. It's one of those. It's like bye bye. So BA. Yes. So BA, then BAI. Exactly like how you have it, because that's how they like to say it. Because it's a nice send off to the other person as well. So you said it perfectly.
All
That's
right.
the
So,
informal.
so I'm ready to go.
You're ready to go. You just did it. I think that was right. That's like it like that.
And Monique, thank you again, and bye bye.
Thank you. Thank you so much.